If you are setting up MLSImport plugin and you feel stuck at the first step, this video will clear it up. MLSImport is a WordPress plugin that imports MLS listings into your website using a RESO Web API connection. And here is the most important thing to understand right away. The data transfer is direct. Your listings come from your MLS Web API straight to your website domain, not through MLSImport servers. That is why you must get RESO Web API access approved by your MLS first. Here is what we will do in this video. First, I will explain what RESO Web API access is and why you need approval from your MLS. Second, I will show you how to confirm which RESO Web API platform your listing service uses using the RESO certification site info, which is always up to date. And third, I will show you what are the correct credentials you need. Let's start with what RESO Web API access actually means. RESO is a standard for how MLS listing data is shared. So when your multiple listing service offers RESO Web API access, it means your website can receive listing data in a structured format that is consistent and predictable. That matters because MLSImport can read that format, show you the available fields, and let you map them into your WordPress real estate theme without writing code. You choose what to import, and your theme controls how it looks on the site. Now let's talk about approval, because this is the step that blocks most setups. Listing data is not public content you can pull from anywhere. It is controlled by your multiple listing service and by the rules in your membership agreement. Sometimes that agreement is handled through your brokerage, so your account must be approved for website data access first. After that approval, you receive the credentials for your account from the Web API system your listing service uses. Once you have those credentials, you can enter them in MLSImport and connect, and that is when MLSImport setup becomes possible. As a realtor or broker, the first thing you want to confirm is simple. Is your multiple listing service RESO certified, and which Web API system they use to share listing data with members? The fastest way to check is the RESO certification site. Open your browser. Go to certification.reso.org. On the endorsements page, use the search box. Type your MLS name. Let's do a real example. Type Stellar. Click the Stellar entry. Now you are on the summary page. Look for the Web API platform name. For Stellar, you will see Bridge Interactive, Bridge API. That means Web API access is handled through Bridge. Now a second example. California Regional MLS is commonly handled through Cotality Trestle. So if you are a California Regional member, you will usually work through the Trestle portal when you request access and receive credentials. Here is the point for MLSImport. MLSImport supports multiple listing services that use one of these RESO Web API platforms: Bridge Interactive, Spark, Navica, Cotality Trestle, Rapatoni, or Utah Real Estate. And in Canada, MLSImport can work with MLS data provided through realtor.caddf Web API. If your multiple listing service uses a different RESO Web API platform, tell our support team which one it is. We can confirm compatibility and guide you on the next step. Once you know the RESO information, you can contact your MLS support team and request RESO Web API access for your website domain. Also ask what their approval steps are because every MLS has its own process. Next, complete the steps they require. This usually includes two parts. First, register your account in the Web API platform they use. And second, request access to the datasets you are allowed to use and wait for MLS approval. After approval, the platform issues your credentials, and those credentials are what you will use in MLSImport. The credential type depends on the platform. For Bridge Interactive Bridge API, you receive a server token. For Cotality Trestle, you receive a client ID and a client secret. For Spark API, you receive a server token. For Navica, you receive a server token. For Realtor.ca, you receive a client ID and a client secret. Now, a quick note about listing photos. In these Web API systems, photos are delivered from the MLS media system, usually through the MLS CDN. That means your website displays images from the MLS source. They are not downloaded and stored by MLSImport. Now, one more thing you may see inside a portal like Trestle. Some portals show multiple delivery options. When you see that, choose Web API. Web API is the delivery type that matches RESO Web API access. Once you have approval and credentials, the rest is straightforward. You enter the credentials in MLSImport, you test the connection, and then you create your first import task. And keep the main idea in mind. The data transfer is direct. It goes from the Web API platform to your website domain. MLSImport reads the RESO Web API data and imports it into WordPress as real properties. In the next video, we will use real credentials from an approved account, connect inside MLSImport, test the connection, and run the first import step by step. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.